Tonight we're going to be talking about the Declaration of Independence once again. It's a unit we started last week, about the middle of the week, and today I want to talk about how the Declaration of Independence is broken down into four distinct parts. We've talked about this in class before, but this is kind of like a refresher, and hope you get a lot out of this video here. The Declaration was written and divided in four parts. The first part of the Declaration is known as the preamble. It's kind of like the introduction. This is why we're actually writing this particular document. And I'm going to kind of go through this text of the preamble and kind of point out some key things that I think you need to be aware of as we go forward with our study of the Declaration of Independence. The text of the preamble says, when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for the colonists, for one people, to dissolve or break away the political bands which have connected them with one another. Let's talk about the colonies and England and breaking apart those bands that have connected them together. And to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station. No longer are the colonies going to be subservient or lesser than or be like the child of England. The colonists are considering themselves equal with England now, to which the laws of nature and the nature's God entitle them. A decent respect. They're saying that England no longer respects the colonies. To the opinions of mankind requires they should declare, making this declaration, the causes. We're going to tell the rest of the world the causes which impel us or kind of force us, them to separate. What does all this mean? It simply means that it's become necessary for the 13 colonies to separate from Great Britain. These colonies have a right to become a nation as legitimate as any other nation. Another nation such as England, France, Germany, any of the other European nations. The colonies consider themselves equals to these European countries now. Additionally, it's important to explain to the public and let France, Spain, Germany, Holland, all these other nations know why this Declaration of Independence from England is being made. Say, hey, rest of the world, guess what? We're breaking away from England. We're going to start handling our own affairs. Part 2 of the Declaration deals with our natural rights. What are these rights? We've discussed these in class already. The Declaration says, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed. That means they're given these rights by their Creator, God. We're talking about a religious country with religious forefathers, guys, with certain unalienable rights. What does the word inalienable mean? It means they cannot be taken away or be given up. These rights include life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We can live free, and pursue whatever makes us happy. If we want to move, remember, movement was restricted in the colonies with the proclamation of 1763. Remember, King George says the colonists were not allowed to move west of the Appalachian Mountains. That did not make the colonists happy at all. You have a right to pursue whatever job makes you happy. You have a right to pursue education. These are just some basic rights that God gives us that nobody can take away. Simply, all men are born with these unalienable rights given to them by God, and they can't be taken away by anybody. That includes Parliament and King George. The third part deals with grievances. Here are some of the grievances the colonists wrote about in the Declaration. They're saying that King George continuously shot down or vetoed laws that the colonial legislators attempted to put in place, and that they believed that they were needed. They couldn't govern themselves. King George wanted total control. And as our population grew large and larger, new communities formed. The king refused to allow these people to govern themselves. He still wanted to continue that complete and total domination. And they're saying the government needs to be carried out by those people that live in a particular colony, not somebody 3,000 miles away. They were also upset with the soldiers. They thought they weren't subject to the civil laws that the colonists had passed. If they beat up a colonist, many times they would not be brought to trial on battery charges. Look at the Boston Massacre. Those soldiers were acquitted by reason of self-defense. They also believed that the military could make up and try their own laws. They were above the law, that the military soldiers that were stationed in the colonies could do anything they wanted to without fear of reprisal. They didn't appreciate having soldiers placed in their homes and having to feed these soldiers out of their own money, their own food stock. It put a big burden on the colonies, and also was an invasion of their privacy. They also said that taxing many acts and methods were implemented without the representation of the colonists. Simply that motto, no taxation without representation, that's what they were meaning. I mean, please do not pass a tax or a law without giving us a representative in Parliament. This cannot continue to go on any longer. And the last part is called Part 4. It's the resolution. What are we going to do about all these things? We told the world why we're going to write this declaration. We told the world what rights we believe that God given to every human being walking the planet. And third, we listed all the things that the King George has did that strained our relationship with the crown. And finally, Part 4 is simply, what are we going to do about it? Finally, the resolution is what the colonies plan on doing. And the resolution wraps up the declaration with this. We, therefore, the representatives of the United States of America in General Congress, talking about the Second Continental Congress, assembled, appealing to the Supreme Judge of the world for rectitude of our intentions, do in name and by authority of good people of these colonies, do solemnly publish and declare that these united colonies and of right ought to be free and independent states, moving from independent colonies to independent states, to be further called the United States of America after the Declaration. That we are absolving, cutting apart, breaking away all allegiance to the British Crown to make a go of it on our own. And this piece of paper, the Declaration, divided into 4 parts, lays out why we're writing it, what has been done wrongly to us, a list of the wrongs done, and what we're going to do about it. And simply, the colonies simply state, we're breaking away from the English crown. We are no longer going to be considered a part of England. We are going to be called the United States of America.